everybody. Well, you know, if you've been to one of my talks before, I love visuals. I have a lot of visuals, and I like interaction. So let's all stand up if we would. And we're going to move around the room for just a quick second, really quickly. You got to just do it quickly. Don't think about it. We're going to have two camps. This side of the room, if you relate or can resonate with this, I want to live as long as I can. You go on this side. This side, I might give up living as long as I can if I could live a fuller, happier, more fulfilled feeling life. Then go to this side. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on. It's okay. Either one is fine. Either one is fine. There's no wrong answers. There's no wrong. I see Greg. Greg is fully decided he just wants to live. That's good. Okay. Perfect.
I'm in the middle.
If you're in the middle, that's okay. That's okay. All right. There's no wrong answer. Now comes the hard part. I want you to return to your chairs, but do not go anywhere near you where you normally sit, and I want you to come clump in the front and the middle together. Come on, come over here. If you sit over there, sit on this side. Don't go back to where you normally sit. And if you can come up close, sit on the opposite side, but come up close as you can to me in the center so I can see and feel you. Come on, you can do this. There you go. Look, Russell's sitting on the floor. We can do this. No, come on, Dave. Do it. Just come on. You can sit anywhere, just not where you normally sit, and hopefully up close. All right. Rally up. Find a seat. Doesn't matter where. Now we're going to talk about your comfort zone. All right? It's not so bad sitting in a different seat, isn't it? Yes. Well, you're not sitting in a different seat. That's what you don't even know. All right. So this talk came about from a recent adventure. It was inspired by Claire and I lead tours, and one of the tours we just did about just a few weeks ago was to Ecuador and the Galapagos Islands. And one experience in particular really changed my thinking, dug into my thinking. I love that you guys are right here like concert style in the front row. This is good. I love it.
Well, we're one of the best seats in the house.
And you know what? This feels better to me to have you guys nice and close. Does it feel good to you guys so far? Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about this adventure and how it led to this experience that has a very spiritual essence to it as well. So it started with, there's a volcano in Ecuador called Cotopaxi, and you've probably seen the colorful clothing and backpacks named after this active volcano. It's one of the, maybe the second highest active volcano. It's almost 20,000 feet at the peak in the world. And one of our goals was to get up to the refugio, which is the hut where the climbers start the technical climb to the very top, but the refugio was at 16,000 feet. Now, for reference, the parking lot that we were driving up to is at 15,000 feet. The highest peak in the lower 48 contiguous states is Mount Whitney at 14,494 feet. So we were going to get off the bus higher than any mountain in the lower 48 and start from there. Which, if you've ever been at altitude and tried to climb, it ain't easy, right? So this is kind of what it looked like. If you can see on the map there, that's where the parking was. We wanted to hike only 1,000 feet higher to the refugio at 16,000 feet. And if we could make it there, we were pretty excited because we weren't prepared to technically climb the snow with ice axes and everything to the very top. And then here is kind of the actual mountain in context. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of work, nature's art. So it started, we have this bus full of people. Some of them are here in the room. Is anyone here actually from our trip? There's Lorraine, Monica who's outside. I saw Randy somewhere. Okay, so we have a few of our adventurous travelers with us. So this little adventure started from pulling the bus into a diner at the base of the mountain, way down in the town below, and it had been raining, cloudy, couldn't even see the peak at all, and we were having lunch, and the bus driver pulled me over, and he goes, I'm getting reports that the road is washed out, it's dangerous, I don't want to go. And I'm like, oh. So I talked to my main guide, Washi, those who know Washi, you know Washi is all about pushing us way out of our comfort zone sometimes. I talked to Washi, he's like, no, we can go. So I checked a couple more resources and then decided we're going to go until it gets dangerous enough, we can turn around and go back. But right now, we don't know. So we're going to go. And I made that decision stepping way out of my comfort zone with a group of people that I was responsible for, deciding that we're going to go. Despite the bus driver saying, hell no, I ain't going to go. Like, there's something there. So we went up to the parking lot, still fogged in, couldn't see a thing. The road was fine. It wasn't washed out. The rain had stopped. And I started to think about comfort zones. As soon as we stepped off the bus, people were like, yay, we're here! Like, where's the bathroom? There is none. There's a rock you can go pee behind. So they're like, So at this point, I'm like, okay, we're already all way out of our comfort zones. I don't know if all of us are going to make it another 1,000 feet straight up. And some of the people were voicing their concerns. I can't do this. What is your comfort zone? Your comfort zone is this place where you reside. Most of us right now are living in our comfort zones, right? We do things. That doesn't mean you're lazy, and a comfort zone doesn't mean you're doing nothing. You can work hard all day long, cranking out productive things in your comfort zone. But being outside of your comfort zone is a different story, and that's, as Kristen shared and Claire shared, that's where the magic actually happens, and there's science to back this up, right? Our comfort zone is there. It's a good thing. It's a place to rest. It's a place to feel good, to recuperate, to reflect on what you learn when you're outside your comfort zone. Think about it that way. Your comfort zone is not a place you stay, or it should not be a place you stay. So we decided we're going to go. Again, another decision. We had another meeting of the minds, and some people were like, no, it's foggy. It could get worse. We may not even get out of here if we don't leave now. And I, again, consulted my guides. One of which was my mom, who had passed away a week before we left on this trip. And I felt her presence with me, and I was talking to her. Nobody else really knew. I mean, they knew that she had passed, but nobody knew that I was consulting her. I was like, should we go, Mom? And all I could hear was, keep going. Keep doing it. And so I said, we're going to go. Whoever wants to go, come. If you don't think you can, if you're already out of your comfort zone way too far just by going to the bathroom without a stall and when you can barely breathe, that's fine too. And most of us, about 3/4 of us, decided to go, and we took off up the hill. So why would you even leave your comfort zone? Why? Like, if comfort zone's so comfortable, right? Why ever leave it? Well, there's a couple of things. One is that there are scientific studies, psychological studies, that show that if you stay in your comfort zone, you never actually push yourself. You actually don't grow. You don't learn. You don't expand. There's a zone I'm going to talk about just outside of your comfort zone that's critically important to our growth as humans and spiritually, which we're going to talk about. That's actually really important. Depression, anxiety, feelings of loneliness, hopelessness, these are all results of staying in your comfort zone too much. Doesn't mean comfort zones are bad, as I said. We need them, but you can't live there in your comfort zone all the time. Again, climbing up. That's Nico there looking out. Hey, why are we climbing this mountain? There's nothing to see. He's actually seeing in the fog, a quote appeared magically from Leonardo da Vinci that said, "Iron rusts from disuse, water loses its purity from stagnation, and even so does inaction sap the vigor of the mind." And I was like, wow, Nico, you saw that in the clouds? I'm gonna use that. That was good. Nice. So stepping out of your comfort zone now, psychological studies have proven that this is where the growth happens. And we all know this, that you have to exercise to get stronger. Your body atrophies. Your muscles atrophy if you don't do physical exercise of some sort, right? You don't ever stretch yourself. And the comfort zone doesn't have to be personal, spiritual it is, but it could be at work. Are you pushing yourself even to just talk to a stranger? That's stepping out of your comfort zone if you normally don't do that. It may be going to work and you're doing hard work every day in your comfort zone, but then one day you decide, I'm going to talk to my boss and offer a suggestion for improvements. That's stepping out of your comfort zone, maybe. Maybe it is, I'm working my butt off, I'm making this company rich, I'm going to start my own business doing what I do. That's stepping out of your comfort zone, right? There can be a lot of ways to step out. Eleanor Roosevelt said, do one thing every day that scares you. And I don't advocate you have to skydive or bungee jump or, run with the bulls every day. But there can be that little thing that does scare you. Maybe it scared some of you just to sit in a different spot. I know the feeling. I go to the same spot every time. And it's our comfort zone. And most of the time that's okay, but you wouldn't have the chance to sit next to these beautiful new people that you are sitting to now if you didn't take that chance and push out of your comfort zone. A little bit, right? So we made it to 16,000 feet. 15,937 at the sign, but I did go the extra few feet into the hills just to hit 16,000. So I could say that I did. And this is called the zone of proximal development, not the altitude zone, but the zone where you step out of your comfort zone into this area of also sometimes called optimal anxiety. What? Optimal anxiety? There's actually good anxiety? Yeah, there is good anxiety in this zone of proximal development, which is just outside your comfort zone, which looks like this, okay? Here's our comfort zone. We're all sitting there. You're sitting in it right now. I'll get to this a little more here. Your comfort zone. And then we have a zone of proximal development, optimal anxiety, which is when you're just outside of it, pushing yourself a little harder, learning a little more, doing things that you normally wouldn't do. This is where the magic actually happens. And this zone is variable. It's different for every person, right? For me, scuba diving is inside of my comfort zone. For someone who's never done it, it's way out of their comfort zone. That would be a big push. For me, downhill mountain biking is in my comfort zone, and some others, downhill mountain bike racing and crashing really hard is in their comfort zone, and it's not in mine. So there is no one comfort zone that's perfect for everyone. It's up to you. And you have to be honest with yourself. Am I in my comfort zone too much? Too deep? Am I too embedded? There's another zone beyond that, the high-stress danger zone. And I actually do believe you need to hit that zone sometimes too. Definitely don't want to stay there very often. But I think it's actually good. And I occasionally do go into that zone, sometimes intentionally, where I'm pushing myself to do something even dangerous. I think we all need to stay in our zone of optimal development, optimal anxiety. I don't think we all have to go into the high-stress danger zone, and yet I think it's not so bad. Okay, so we know about comfort zones. We know about proximal development, optimal anxiety, what those zones are. Let's talk about it spiritually. Could you all right now be in a spiritual comfort zone? Yeah. And that's okay. So what does a spiritual comfort zone maybe look like? It could look like maybe you're at a church, could be unique, maybe another more traditional church, where you just really don't resonate with the teachings, but you stay. It could be that you have been taught or led to believe things that just don't feel right, and you stay because that's your comfort zone, because everybody else is there, your community's there, and you're not resonating with it, but you're still there, you're stuck there. Stepping out of that comfort zone may look like trying something else, leaving that community, whatever it happens to be. I know of people who have been to Unity who felt like it wasn't the right place for them because there wasn't enough structure, format, not enough Bible talk, things that they felt they needed to be comfortable. And they've left and gone to traditional churches. That's okay too. For most of us here right now today, I think most of us, I can see a lot of familiar faces. This might be your comfort zone. Like, I resonate with this. I resonate with the spiritual principles, the grounding of unity. I'm in my comfort zone. Do you want to stay there? Is it okay to just stay in your comfort zone? Stepping out of your spiritual comfort zone might be volunteering more, because that's not something you're comfortable with or don't really want to do, but you have to do that to actually step out of your comfort zone. It might be donating more, because maybe you have trauma related to giving at an organized religion church that you haven't gotten over for some reason. Most likely, though, what I think our comfort zone, spiritually speaking, is that we're not living the principles that we come here to soak up. Right? When the going gets tough, what happens? The tough don't usually get going. When the going gets tough, people usually kind of fall back into their comfort zone. And it's very easy to come here, like we do, enjoy the messages, enjoy the beautiful music, enjoy the camaraderie, the community, and just be without going out into the world and practicing those principles. So are you, when we have a conflict within us, in your community, your family, your friends, are you now turning back to your spiritual principles and go, am I showing up with my principles intact? Am I showing up? Am I giving the other person the benefit of the doubt? Am I seeing them as divine? One of the big things we talk about here is that everyone is divine, everyone is perfect. But do we really act that way when we're not happy with what somebody's doing? Not always. I know I don't always do that. I'd like to, and I'd like to remind myself, go back to my principles. Unity's fifth principle, those of you who know the 5 principles, the fifth one is action, which is live the principles you know to be true. That is the hardest part of spirituality. It's very easy to read them, to say I agree with them, to go hallelujah. Hallelujah. But when things get challenging, when times are tough, do we kind of forget all that? This is Cotopaxi Peak. As we got about halfway up the mountain on our little trek, the clouds cleared. They absolutely went gorgeous, gone, little puffy whites. People were stopping in their tracks, crying. I know I was. Going, I cannot believe we almost aborted this trek. It was the most beautiful experience, the most amazing hike I've ever done in my life. And I thought, I almost called it off for everybody. because I was afraid of stepping out of my comfort zone and pushing them out of their comfort zones. Nico's doing a little Tai Chi on the ridge up there. I love this one from Gandhi. Live as if you were to die tomorrow, but learn as if you were to live forever. Let that sink in a little bit. Because Gandhi was pretty smart, I think. He definitely operated outside of his comfort zone. So we came to the top. Oh my God, this gorgeous, people were crying. We started to go back down. And as we started to descend, the clouds started to come back in again a little bit, sending us off. And as we were coming down, I was just talking to my mom, going, thank you for pushing me. Thank you for being here, keeping us all safe. I know it's not you. I'm just talking to her, in my head, coming down. I'm like, angels are with us everywhere. But we got to reach out to them and talk to them. And that may be outside of your spiritual comfort zone, to admit that you can talk to your angels, that you have angels. Everybody has angels. I believe that. As we got back down to our bus, I was just feeling of elation. My friend took these pictures here, and another great one from Gandhi said, the difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing would suffice to solve most of the world's problems. Boom. He's talking about that zone of outside our comfort into that zone of what's possible is amazing. When I got down to the bus, I can't even look at this picture very long. All I could think about was being joyful, being grateful, missing my mom, hearing her voice. I grabbed Nico, and he knew exactly. I didn't have to say anything. He knew we were both thinking about Mom and her presence, her guidance, my angel. And kind of amazingly, my friend who took this picture, she was hiking down with me from the mountain. After the trip was over, she had taken an image and she sent this, not knowing any of this was going on. And she said, I was hiking down and I saw what felt like an angel. And I photographed it. And she said, and it felt to me like this was your mom. And she sent me this a week after we returned home. I didn't even see this image, and it was after I'd already gone through this. And it was in a rather amazing manifestation of what I was feeling, and I knew she was there the whole time. Neil Donald Walsh says, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Conversations with God. Some of you have read this fantastic book. And I think that spiritually, as well as personally, physically, we all have room to push ourselves just a little bit further outside of our comfort zone. I'm really glad that all of you played my little game and moved your chairs around to get outside of yours a little bit and feel that it doesn't have to be scary. It can be exciting. And I would like to encourage us all to push ourselves personally, physically, whatever that level is for you, physically, spiritually, to reach into that zone where you can actually truly live and not just exist. Thank you.